Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Saturday is Pegasus World Cup day, and while it might not be the strongest edition of the race formerly known as the Don Handicap, it is a really good betting race, and that's why I want to talk about it today on the Pedigree Puzzle. So here is the field for this year's $3 million Pegasus World Cup. Like I said, it's not the strongest edition of the race. There's only one previous Grade 1 winner in here, and that is the morning line favorite National Treasure, who of course won the Preakness last year. But it is a really good betting race, and as such, I wanted to kind of go horse by horse through the field and talk through this race a little bit, since it's been a minute since I've done any handicapping stuff on here. So let's go ahead and start with number one, Nimitz Class. This is a son of Munnings out of a Flatter Mary. He's a Pennsylvania bred, and he's been a really good horse. He's making his first start for trainer George Weaver. That's a 21% angle from 19 starters, but this looks like a big step up for him for sure. He finished second in the Grade 3 Salvatore Mile, where he did actually beat Trademark last June, but and he's so consistent, but I don't see him winning here. He could be factored near the front of the near the pace. I don't think he's a threat to be on the lead necessarily in here, but he could be one of the many horses in here who wants to kind of sit in that second flight just off the pace setters. Then we have Conor, the Chilean bred. And this is a really interesting horse. I guess technically is another Grade 1 winner in here, but that came in Chile. So a little bit of a different story, but he has been in good form lately with his last two starts. He did not do well, only beat one horse in this race last year, but is coming in looking pretty good. He's coming in off of the Harlan's Holiday again, like last year, with the same speed figure he won last year, but a significantly better result in that race. And this is a horse who I think the pace scenario really favors him if the pace ends up being as fast as it looks on paper. I think that you can toss that Woodward a couple races back where he was 15 lengths out of it early on, slow to start. That was a little further back than I think he really wanted to be. I think that 2 to 3 lengths back, like you saw in the Fayette and the Harlan's Holiday, is a little bit more his style, more his what he wants to be doing. And I think this horse has a very big shot in here. Then is Dynamic One. And this horse is a little bit of an enigma. He has a couple races in here, like that Blame Stakes in 2022, that make him interesting. He has that late closing style, but it's hard for me to really like this horse in this spot against this kind of company. In his second race off of over a year layoff, especially when that comeback effort wasn't particularly strong. So he's a pass for me in here, but he will be favored by the pace scenario as he looks like one who will be wanting to come late. Then we have Hoist the Gold, and this is a hard knocking horse, but one who's going to be stretching out to a mile and an eighth for the first time. I have a hard time kind of getting a read on him in here. He put out in a career best effort last time out in the Sargar Mile, where he went to the front, went quick, and just kept going, putting up that 109 Beyer speed figure. But that was in the slop. He's a son of Mineshaft out of a Tappet mare, so you kind of think that the wet track would favor him. So it's a little tough for me to get a good feel for what I think of him in here. A lot of people seem to think he's going to go to the front, and I'm not sure if that's the case or not. I feel like, in most of his route races, he has been going to the front. I expect he'll probably press, but I don't know if he'll be going quite as fast as he did last time. This is a horse who I don't need in this spot, but he's certainly coming into the race with some interesting works and in career form. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if he hung around for a piece. Then we have Trademark, and I think this horse is very interesting in here. He won the Clark last time out in a career best effort off of a Fayette Stakes that was pretty lackluster. And I think he's going to get a really good trip sitting in third or fourth behind the speed in here. I think he's going to get first run on some of the deeper closers. And he just beat the horse who I think is the horse to beat in this race, First Mission last time out. So I think that at 15-1, this is a horse that makes a lot of sense. Then we have Senor Buscador, another really fun, hard knocking type of horse who dances a lot of dances and has races that fit here. His Cigar Mile last out was tied for his career best buyer figure, made up a ton of ground, and is another one who will be absolutely rolling late. I liked him a little bit in the Breeders' Cup Classic to maybe hit the board in there at 29-30-1. And he didn't really do a whole lot, but he came back and ran a really nice race behind Hoist the Gold in the Cigar Mile. So this is another one that I'm not really interested in, but a lot of people who I respect are. But I kind of took my shot with him in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I'm going to leave him out this time. But he's a horse that could definitely figure into like your tries and supers at a pretty big price. Then National Treasure. This is the morning line favorite, and I am absolutely against this horse in here. I said it in my Belmont Stakes video. I said it in my Traverse video. I just have a lot of doubts about this horse and his quality, not to mention the fact that since that debut, his only 2 wins have come when he's been on or his only win has come when he's been on the lead. And then he had that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile effort that was a lot better than what I really expected to see from him, to be honest with you. A career best effort in there on speed figures. But he still got a fairly easy lead in there. He was clear, kind of got separation on the field, and then dug in real gamely against Cody's Wish. He reminds me a little bit of other Baffert horses like Bayern or Game On Dude, where Game On Dude, talent-wise, I think National Treasure is cut below. But Game On Dude was one of those horses where if you gave him the lead, he would absolutely fight, and he would show a lot of tenacity. But if you didn't, he would quit. And like Bayern, I think that this is a horse who always takes a little bit of money, but is very pace dependent. And I don't think he's going to get the kind of setup that he needs in here. Now, having said that, there have been countless times where I have thought that, especially about a speedy Baffert horse. And it looks like on paper that, there's too much speed in here. There's no way this horse is going to get the kind of lead he wants. And then everybody takes back and lets the Baffert go. So that could happen. I'm betting that it doesn't, especially as the likely favorite, maybe second choice in here. I just think that National Treasure is a bad bet. Then we have First Mission, who I do think is the horse to beat in here. He's a lightly raced 4-year-old, should be getting better with age as a son of street sense. And he ran really well in the Clark last time out. He just got beat, but I think that he's a horse where, even though he was dueling on the lead in the Clark, he showed, for instance, in that optional claimer, that he can sit back if needed. So I think that he has some tactical versatility where he doesn't need to be on the lead, but he should be close. And I think that he's a really tenacious horse. He showed that in the Lexington where he beat Arabian Lion. He showed that in that optional claimer over Command Performance. And he ran a really good race, even though he got beat in the Clark. So this is the horse who I think is the horse to beat. I'm going to end up somewhere else for my top pick, but this is a horse that you can't leave off your tickets, or whether you're playing horizontally, or you can't leave him out of the top spot if you're playing vertically. Then there's Grand Aspen. This is another Pletcher horse in the field, and another one that I don't really need, but have a little hard time with. He's one where his wins come by daylight, and he hasn't really shown the ability to finish up. He is a horse who I think I wouldn't be surprised if he played a little bit of a pace factor in here, maybe pressing from the outside. But overall, I don't really need him. He would be a bit of a surprise to me if he got this done. Then we have Ilir Colo. And this one is another horse that I'm going to pass in here. He has a couple good races, but nothing that really puts him on the level with these. Then we have Krupi. And again, a horse who has some nice races. He's a nice horse. He's like Il Miracolo, a 4-year-old who is bred to get a little bit better with age. But as with Il Miracolo, he just doesn't really have any races that make him look competitive here to me. Then on the outside, Skippy Longstocking. And if you watched our live stream of the Breeders' Cup, you know that I really liked this horse in the dirt mile. And I'm torn on him in here. On one hand, I think that once again, he could get a nice stalking trip, but I also don't like the post for him from the outside. I think he's going to kind of be forced to go, and he's probably going to end up wide, like he was in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And I'm gonna leave him off in here this time. He tried this race last year and didn't do great. If he wins, I'm gonna feel really stupid. If you can afford to go deep, I think he's a horse worth including. But I think he's gonna end up, just outside of my top picks in here. And then last, you have the also eligible Castle Chaos, another one who just doesn't really look to have the class of these horses. So overall, I think that this is a race where pace is everything. What the big question to me is National Treasure going to get the lead? Is he going to be allowed to get a length or so on the other horses in here? And because I think if they let him go by even a length and a half, he wins. But on paper, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. There are quite a few horses who can press. You have Skippy Longstocking can be pretty close. Grand Aspen has some speed. Of course, Hoist the Gold last time out in the Cigar Mile was very quick. And even a horse like Nimitz Class can be pretty close. There's a lot of horses in here. Trademark can stalk fairly close to the pace. First Mission, of course. So like I said, it just doesn't look like a race where National Treasure is going to get the trip that he needs to win, which is why I'm going elsewhere in here. And the horse I landed on top tentatively is O'Connor. I really like that last race from him in the Harlan's Holiday coming into here. I'm hoping that he kind of he's the trip horse to me. He's the horse who is going to kind of be like second to third flight. And I think that's where you want to be. He's not going to be coming all the way out the back like a horse like Senor Buscador, but he'll be fairly close. Now, he is coming to this race exactly the same as last year where he didn't fire. So that's a reason to be skeptical of him. But especially at the 8-1 price, I think he's worth a shot in here. Besides him, I do think that, like I said, First Mission is the horse to beat to me. If you wanted to get brave and, number one most likely winner is First Mission. But it's a tough race. He's a lightly raced horse. And I just decided to give the edge to a horse that's a little bit of a better price. And the other horse that I think you have to include is the horse who beat First Mission last time out, and that's Trademark. He's another one who I think he'll be a little closer than O'Connor to the pace, but he's shown that he can come from a few lengths off the pace at least and make a run. So I like him a bit in here. I love the 15-1 morning line in there. And then some other horses who, if you're playing vertically, are probably worth including to me would be horses like Senor Buscador or on the outside, Skippy Longstocking. But that's the way I see this race playing out overall. So let me know what you think, what your picks are in this race, who you like, do you think National Treasure is able to wire the field? Do you think he's able to sit and take pressure and still go on with it? Let me know. And make sure you check out all the great content we have going on the channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Lots of us have taken a look at this race, this sequence, which is a great late pick 4 that way they have going at Gulfstream on Saturday. So definitely take a look at those videos on the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.